Terrorists target tourists in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam, 26 dead and dozens injured in this terror attack. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah says that Bharat will not bend. Meanwhile, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says that India will respond shortly.
ऐसी हरकतों का जिम्मेदार और इसके जिम्मेदार लोगों को आने वाले कुछ ही समय में जोरदार तरीके से नजर आएगा। मैं देशवासियों को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं।
Prime Minister Modi said to chair the key security cabinet meet, the high-level security meet over Pahalgam attack. The world comes together to condemn the terror attack in Pahalgam, calling it deeply disturbing and barbaric. From United States to Australia, the world leaders extend their support to India. Hello and welcome. Our top focus is the non-stop coverage of the ghastly attack on innocent people in Pahalgam. People who just wanted to celebrate their lives with their loved ones. Our hearts are heavy with grief as we report on the devastating terror attack in Pahalgam. At least 26 innocent lives, they were lost, including tourists and locals, and many more were injured. The attack claimed by Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba's affiliate TRF, the Resistance Front, it has sent shockwaves across the nation. We stand in solidarity with the families of the victims and pray for the speedy recovery of those who have been injured. The Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's words echo the nation's sentiment. He said that India will not only hunt down the attackers, the people who fired the guns, but people who orchestrated this sitting behind the parda. The Union Home Minister, he was on ground taking stock of the situation. He met with the injured at the hospital. He in fact spoke to the distraught family members. He is now back in Delhi. The Prime Minister, meanwhile, he'll be holding a Cabinet Committee on Security meeting, the CCS meeting. The meeting is going to start in just a short while from now. These attacks are clearly meant to create communal divide and stop the rest of India to visit Jammu and Kashmir. This is also an attempt to restore situations that were before the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019, so that Kashmiris fall prey to the ISI's design. Now, as security is heightened across the country, we all urge everyone to remain vigilant and united in this hour of grief. May the victims rest in peace and may their families find strength in this difficult time. In fact, let's also listen in to what the Defence Minister had to say.
भारत का एक एक नागरिक इस कायरतापूर्ण हरकत के खिलाफ एकजुट है। मैं इस मंच से देशवासियों को आश्वस्त करता हूं, घटना के मद्देनजर भारत सरकार वो हर कदम उठाएगी जो जरूरी और उपयुक्त होगा। और हम सिर्फ उन लोगों तक नहीं पहुंचेंगे जिन्होंने इस घटना को अंजाम दिया है। हम उन तक भी पहुंचेंगे जिन्होंने पर्दे के पीछे बैठकर हिंदुस्तान की सरजमी पर ऐसी नापाक हरकतों की साजिशें रची हैं।
And my colleague Nazir Masoodi joins us to get us more from the ground. Nazir, what exactly is the situation on the ground at the moment? And more importantly, the response of the locals and the politicians who have come together to condemn this attack, it is really heartening to see.
Well, there's outpouring of anger, and people are showing that anger. They hit the streets and strongly condemn this incident. This is for the first time in last 35 years of militancy in Kashmir that there's a shutdown against militants and this terror attack, in which 26 people, among them a local hero, a brave heart, Sayyid Adil, who tried to save tourists and even fought with terrorists, he was killed. And Chief Minister and the local legislators and others, they paid homage to him, attended his last rites, Namaz Janaza, just a while back in a village behind me called Hapatnar here in Pahalgam. So there are chilling details about how this horrific attack has happened. This massacre has taken place, which has shaken everybody. Chief Minister Umar Abdullah has called an all-party meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m. to discuss the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir after this horrific attack and how this is collectively condemned. We saw this is first time there is a complete shutdown across Jammu and Kashmir. From mosques, there were appeals to people come out and protest. And since yesterday, we have been seeing candlelight vigil. We have been seeing spontaneous protests against terrorism, against violence, and against all these innocent killings. A while back, I was here and a vehicle stopped and there were tourists from Maharashtra, Mumbai. Two young girls came out and they said they are leaving Pahalgam because Pahalgam is now a ghost town, it is deserted because tourists have left. But we are not leaving Kashmir, we are going to Gulmarg. The way people treat us, the people give us the love and affection, that should not be forgotten and that should not be ignored. Terrorism is one thing, but the love and affection of locals is a different thing. So the locals are against the terror, locals are against the violence, while 26 people are the victims, which is a huge loss. But the real target is Kashmir, Kashmir's identity, Kashmir's economy. Now the response is going to be much bigger because terrorists wanted to send an impact, make an impact beyond Pahalgam and beyond Kashmir. So Cabinet Committee on Security is being chaired by Prime Minister today, and the decision would be taken. We know what happened after Pulwama attack, and this attack is worse than Pulwama. And Defense Minister has already made it clear that the response would be such that the perpetrators would remember that. So same is the sentiment on the ground, that Kashmir cannot be made a battleground and it cannot be allowed to be dehumanized like this. Since yesterday we have been seeing people coming out on protests and this complete shutdown. And why it has happened on a day when US Vice President is in India. And remember in 2000 when then US President Bill Clinton was in India, that time 35 Sikhs were massacred in the same district at a place called Chatti Singhpora. So whenever there has been some high probability visit, there has been attempt to create disturbance in the valley. As I said, it is being. Now we have to see what security forces are doing. Number one, they have laid a major coordinated search operation in that area, but it's not easy to track down these attackers who appear to be well trained in jungle warfare, because Baisaran Valley, Baisaran meadow, which it is between two, hills or two forest areas, and it appears that they have disappeared in those thick alpine forests, and which has happened most of the times whenever there have been attacks on army in Poonch, Rajouri or in Kutwa, we have seen militants manage to escape. So it needs a well-calibrated strategy to deal with this, but the important is how to deal with those who have been planning and masterminding these attacks in the valley and disturbing peace. People are really angry, and hoteliers have even announced that there would be 15-day free accommodation for the tourists here in Pahalgam. Even Poniwalas who have lost one of their brave hearts, Saeed Adil, in this terror attack, they are saying they can provide free services. So there's absolute anger and protest against this attack in Kashmir Valley, and we know that it is something which is going to redefine the security strategy. After that, government it's expected that they will see where the loopholes. If there was a intelligence input, very strong intelligence input, police and the security force were laying cordons at multiple places because they had intelligence input, there would be some major attack. Why tourists were allowed to go to Baisaran? Why there was not a proper advisory at that time, so that this huge tragedy could have been averted.
Absolutely. Nazir, thank you very much for getting us all the details from Pahalgam. Meanwhile, I also have Anuj Raite joining us from the Mumbai Airport. Anuj, take us through what you're seeing at the moment, what is going on at the airport right now.
As far as Maharashtra is concerned, there were many visitors, many tourists from Maharashtra who were in Pahalgam when this entire attack happened. And sadly, amongst them, Sikhs have died, and most of them are from the Mumbai region, right? Three are from Dombivli, one is from Panvel, and a couple others are from Pune. As far as Mumbai is concerned, there were 4 flights carrying 8 deceased people coming to Mumbai, out of which 6 are Maharashtra residents, 2 are the non-Maharashtra residents. And just an hour back, we saw that the first flight, it came back from this road, and it brought back Sanjay Lele and Dilip Desle's mortal remains. And now, just a while back, we saw that the second flight carrying the mortal remain of Hemant Joshi and Atul Mone is also come. In fact, you can see on your screen the car with the mortal remain is been taken away. This is not the vehicle which is carrying the mortal remains, but they are clearing the way out so that they can make sure that the ambulance can move swiftly. Also, because there are several ministers present. There are multiple ministers present inside to make sure that the coordination between the families, the authorities goes on very smoothly. We've seen that there are 3 ministers each from the Bharatiya Janata Party and from Shiv Sena Shinde's section who are here and who will not just be present here at the airport, but will also try and make sure that they travel with the family either to Dombivli or to Panvel and make sure that the final rites are taken care of fully. While this is happening on one hand, on the other hand, we've seen that the political war of words has started. The opposition has tried to round up the government. We had Sanjay Raut speak in the morning about how it is a complete failure of the state that that such an attack was possible. But we've also had voices from the other opposition leaders like Supriya Sure talking about how one needs to put forth a united face at this moment. But from what you can see on your screen now, the area has been cleared off just to make sure that the second vehicle, which will be carrying 3 mortal remains of the Dombivli residents, will be leaving this airport soon.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm also currently joined by my colleague Tanushri Desai from Indore. Tanushri, take us through what's going on at the airport at the moment. What is the mood like of the people there?
So currently, I'm present at Indore Airport's VIP exit gate. Now, how you can see in the images, a lot of vehicles are present over here. CM Mohan Yadav will be arriving soon here also, and also the mortal remains of Sushil, who was murdered in the terror attack, would be brought from this gate only very soon. At any moment, his mortal remains would be here, and the mortal remains would be shifted to the stage. It has been made to provide the last tribute to the mortal remains of Sushil, and the CM will be also arriving soon. According to the information that we received, the mortal remains has been out from Jammu and Kashmir and will soon come to Indore. Also, in the incident, actually, Sushil went with his family to celebrate his wife's birthday, and his daughter was also with them. The daughter is also severely injured, and her treatment is happening right now in the hospitals. Even though the family is not present in Indore, the family, every single family member is in Jammu and Kashmir, and they will be coming with the mortal remains of Sushil. So currently, I am at Indore Airport, and the CM will be also arriving soon. Police is over here. The ambulance has been planted outside the airport, and as soon as the body comes over here, the body would be placed over here to pay last tributes for the mortal remains of Sushil.
All right. It is indeed a very painful moment for all the family members who are waiting for the mortal remains of their loved ones back in their city. Nazir Masoodi and Tanushri, along with Anuj Raite, thank you very much for getting us all the latest. We'll take a very short break. Welcome back. The entire world has come together to condemn this heinous attack on the tourist in Pahalgam. Be it US President Donald Trump or the Russian President Vladimir Putin, along with the entire Europe, everyone has condemned this attack on the innocent people in Pahalgam. In fact, this attack, this Pahalgam terror attack, it also raises some very, very serious questions. Now, what are those questions? Number one, what's expected from key security meeting that is taking place at the moment? How will India now respond to this heinous attack? How will the intel gaps be addressed? That is also something very, very important to be addressed here. Will the world isolate Pakistan? To find the answers to all these questions, I'm currently joined by Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, the former Consul General to Karachi in Pakistan. I also have Major General Sudhakar Ji, VSM retired, former Indian Army General. He has served in counter-terrorism operations in Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir from 2006 to 2008. I also have Daniel Markey, Senior Advisor, South Asia, USIP, and also a Senior Fellow. Let me start by asking you, General Sudhakar, how do you see this, despite decades of conflict in the region, there has always been this unwritten rule that tourists, they would not be targeted. How does this particular attack change our understanding of these attacks?
Osama, thank you for getting me to your show. Good evening, and my compliments to very distinguished co-panelists. And Daniel Markey, I've read his book, No Exit from Pakistan. I'm a great admirer of his writings. Now, about this genocidal killing, no doubt that it's a thing should not be suffered in silence. There should be calibrated retribution, and in doing so, we have to see the context in which this incident or this particular perpetration of terrorist act has taken place.
Yeah.
We need to carry out an assessment based on tangible inputs, tangible evidences, come to a conclusion, don't act in haste, no impulsive action. But having said this, please allow me, Osama, to dilate the issue, to take our viewers' mind back to why a thing like this has happened, what has happened. Take your mind back to 5th of August 2019, abrogation of Article 370, 35 Alpha. 9th of August, Mr. Qureshi, Foreign Minister of Pakistan, air dashes to China, has important meeting with top leaders. They formulate a counter strategy to put or keep India under check. Consequent to that commences the process of revival of proxy war south of Pir Panjal ranges, from Poonch to Rajouri to Kathua and those like places, Riyasi, goes on towards Doda, Kishtwar, and thereafter into the valley floor. And also, by about 20th or 15th of June 2020, amidst the pandemic, we have the Galwan incident, extended standoff, troops get pulled out, and the insurgency or terrorism picks up momentum, where it had actually remained dormant for nearly 14 to 16 years because of no terrorism being there in the south of Pir Panjal ranges. So this is a dimension which is to be kept in mind. Also alongside, China went in for extended standoff, also went in for border laws, new border villages, and most of other activities. Also, Bangladesh thing was opened up, while US was pulling back in a hasty manner, in a non-superpower-like manner, on sometime in August 2021. So what was happening was, look at Syria, there is a legitimization of the non-state actors in the global order today. And look at Bangladesh. While bringing up this point, I would quickly respond to your question by saying, not to be impulsive, take a calibrated option. In the calibrated option, see what all we targeted in Balakot, consequent to the Pulwama incident, or prior to Pulwama was Uri attack. Now, the thresholds have gone up.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel that we need to escalate the target selection. My point of view is that where the tap is actually bleeding with terrors coming down, flowing down, if the tap is actually overflooding India with terrors, that tap is to be closed as soon as possible.
Absolutely, and in fact, that also points a big finger towards Pakistan. What about Pakistan? I want to get a response from Ambassador Dogra there. The most obvious response, Ambassador Dogra, should be that the world isolates Pakistan. But the question is, will the world isolate Pakistan?
Well, why are we dependent on the world? World has also already expressed its sorrow it's horror at what has happened. But the action has to be India's. And the first thing that we must do as a country is to assess Pakistan's game plan. Does it finish here? Or do they have some other nefarious activities in mind? The other thing is that unlike civilized behavior, even in a war like Ukraine, where neither Russia nor Ukraine have targeted civilians, Pakistan has a consistent record of indulging in terror attacks against civilians in India. Vaishno Devi, the two horrible Bombay attacks, they were all against civilians. So Pakistan does not go by civilized rules. That is why I am emphasizing again and again that, look, before we take any step, look and examine closely what Pakistan has in mind. Because what Army Chief of Pakistan said a couple of days back was unprecedented.
Absolutely.
Talking against Hindus, talking about, and that is why they singled out Hindus.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the most horrible things you can hear of and imagine in front of children and ladies. So that is point number one. Second, the world moves on. By tomorrow, they would have moved on to another topic. So it is our problem. There will be sympathy from some countries in the world. There will probably be also some kind of intelligence sharing. But beyond that, it is for India to sort out the perpetrators of terror in Pakistan. And as you very rightly said initially, that it is the masterminds who have to be tackled.
All right. What should be India's response? Daniel Maki, this is to you. How do you think India will respond, and what should be India's response here now?
Look, I think we've seen versions of this happen before. And the problem is that there are no easy military solutions to the threat that India faces from Pakistan. I agree with the point that this looks a lot like the 2019 episode. And unfortunately, what we've seen is that even when India strikes back, even when India escalates, even when India makes attacks on Pakistani territory, the problem is it doesn't resolve the underlying question of defending India's borders. India has done more to do that, and India has tried to firm up its security in Kashmir in a variety of ways, and yet we still get attacks like this. So I think the fundamental conundrum facing India is, will a punitive action now convince Pakistan's decision makers that they need to back off? And I think that, unfortunately, that's an open question. And I don't think that there's any amount of intelligence gathering about Pakistan at this moment that will lead to a firm answer. Is the Pakistani military interested in escalating this violence? Was this attack perpetrated at the time of Vice President Vance's visit intentionally to bring global attention, greater global attention, and especially Washington's attention to the issue? So many questions that I think will be unanswered. And so the problem facing India is, in light of that uncertainty, can it do more? And I'm afraid I don't know. And I don't think that India's leaders will know either.
Absolutely. There are many unanswered questions, including what role should diplomatic pressure play right now in addressing state-sponsored terrorism if Pakistan's involvement is confirmed. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being a part of this discussion. We'll slip into a very short break. More on the other side.
खुश आमदीद कर